broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV, where we are dissecting The Flash, Season 1, Episode 16, Rogue Time. I'm your host, Roxy Striar. Alongside me, Tauri Miller.
Hey, hey!
Tauri, tell us where people can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at TauriJ. It's Taurijay.
Ashley Daniels.
Hi, everyone. I'm at Ashley Daniels on Twitter.
And Jeffrey Masters.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey Masters. I tweet from Jeff Masters 1.
And you were the one who told us to play this song tonight in the intro, coming from a fan.
Yes, Eric Schaffner recommended this.
Well,
this is Kiss.
Nice.
Thank you very much, Eric Schaffner.
Mr. Speed.
If you want to hear more of our stuff, you can find us on AfterBuzzTV.com, YouTube.com/AfterBuzzTV, at AfterBuzzTV. Use the hashtag ABTVFlash to talk to our show specifically. And of course, you guys can find me at Roxy Striar. But getting into tonight's episode, guys, I want to hear overall thoughts. Wow, this song's really pumping me up as we're going.
I know. I like that you're still playing it too.
And that's what I'm saying. We really needed it tonight.
We do.
It's late nights here, and after watching The Flash, it's like this big burst of energy, and then kind of all fizzles out. So
yeah,
we got to keep it going. But what did you guys think about tonight's episode, Tauri?
I thought it was really fun. Like, there was a lot of... Actually, no. I love Captain Cold. That's my main takeaway. He is so amazing in this role.
As a character in general, or specifically in this show?
In this show, the actor really, like, he knows when to chew the scenery a little bit. He, like, plays it really well, and super stoic as well. It's great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You like him better than Heatwave almost?
I do, mostly because, like, he's like the intellectual type, and I identify.
We'll get absolutely into it. Ash, what did you think of tonight's episode?
And I'm the antithesis of the intellectual type, so I, completely opposite. No, I'm gonna go with I love the gold gun. I want to have a gun that spews gold. I think that life
you
would
deserve
be.
it.
Yeah, I think I don't understand why they steal when they have that much gold
seriously.
in their life. But hey, to each his own. They're still hustling. They're like, you know what? We're not going to take advantage of this. We're going to store it for a rainy day.
I know. If somebody had a gold gun, I'd be like, shoot me with it. Let's see what happens.
Exactly.
Let's see how that works out.
Then sell me. Oh, wait, that would make sense.
Yeah, I like this combo, too. I think that the fire... Oh, wait, what's Captain Cold's fire guy's name?
Heatwave.
Heatwave, of course.
Oh, we should have played that song, too.
Oh, well, we'll do it
Next
one of
week.
these days. It seems like they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
The songs.
No.
The songs
Definitely not
ain't
the
going
songs.
nowhere, honey.
The character.
All the songs are disappearing, guys.
Now do your evil voice.
I love that Captain Cold's like sophistication next to Heatwave's. He like seems like an orc to me from Lord of the Rings. Just like a little like crumbly.
That's a geeky reference from you. I'm really proud.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
You've come a long way, Jeff.
Shucks, thanks, man.
Okay, but we can't really say that because he is the book circle guy, so he's got some nerdy in him.
I read.
Shout out to
I read the
Circle.
books, not the
Yeah.
movies. Just kidding. The movies are actually fantastic. Off track though.
So in general, I thought tonight's episode was really good, but again, I'm having a hard time grasping the fact that last week, null and void. Really, really doesn't matter. And go ahead.
No, you were having a hard time grasping this as well as Barry Allen.
Right. I'm literally sitting there with him, and he's like very confused, and I'm sitting there. It's not even the confused that's going on with me. It's just more like, wait, no, everything that just happened. Oh, it's all slipping. Oh, it's kind of good because now Cisco gets to live, but it's kind of bad because there was no kiss, and it's really hard. And Barry is just a young dude, and he's sitting there and he's thinking, I really need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
So he goes to his mentor, which of course is Wells. What did you guys think about the way Wells dealt with the situation when Barry comes to him and he's saying, I don't want to know, really shuts him down many times? Are you surprised?
Oh, go ahead.
Don't jump up all at once.
I wasn't surprised because it's within his cover to be like, oh, I don't want to know, like, we have to maintain the time stream continuum, even though he knows that's not right and that time is malleable, because we've seen him, I mean, his existence in and of itself shows that time is malleable, and we've seen that the timeline changes when he goes to Gideon. So, I mean, I expected him to play the role, but I didn't expect him to be as, like, shutty downy as he was.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you guys think about the way Wells handled it?
I thought that it was one of those things that I felt like he was probably going to be a little more of a mentor, just because every time I see him, I just automatically assume that he's, I don't know what that sound is, sorry. Every time I see him, I just feel like he's just one of those people that you just would ask for advice. He's been there, done that. So he kind of surprised me a little bit in that sense. I thought he'd be a little more apt to helping him.
Right.
Well, he did listen, but I just thought he'd maybe like sit down and like make it a little more like of a therapist's office versus like, like, hey,
Has he
you want
ever
to talk?
done that?
We're chatting, okay.
Oh my God, I would love to see that though. Hey, lie down on my couch.
Put your feet up.
Jeff, what did you think?
I understand that his like point about no deviations. This needs to balance each other out, kind of like a life for a life, and like base terms. And yet, Harrison Wells being in this time is making massive changes. Mm-hmm. It's going to cause a big ripple effect. And so I'm just curious to see how that will play out, and if that will actually affect like Harrison's existence and or timeline itself.
Absolutely. There's some things that happened later on in the episode that made me question whether Wells was kind of fooling Barry by saying, I don't want to know. If that was just, we talked about, I think, Tauri, you might have mentioned this, that it could be a front or something. Yeah. So I thought it was really strange. He usually tries to get all the information as he possibly can from Barry, and now he's shutting him down. And I felt bad for him because, you can't go to your school guidance counselor. You can't call your therapist. You can't call your best friend. You can't call the girl you like. Right. And you have all this really serious stuff going on, and you have nobody to talk to about it. So it was kind of a sad moment.
It was, and I thought it was interesting because if you notice when he said all the things that was on his mind, the Iris situation came up last. But I do kind of feel like that was the most important thing to him.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it's funny that he mentioned it last, like, oh, by the way, like, not a big deal, but, Iris liked me. It was like, I just felt so bad for him because I feel like, imagine, I'd rather it never have happened than it happened for 2 seconds and you got a taste of it. It's like Cinderella, like she had till midnight and then she only has a glass slipper left. Yeah. We discussed this. It's like, it's almost better that like that doesn't happen sometimes. I mean, in her case, it worked out well.
Well, she gets the prince. So.
Of course, right. But still.
Spoiler alert. No, I'm with you. I definitely agree, but I just feel like, yes, that is the worst thing. That might be the biggest thing on his mind, but he doesn't even know what fully happened that day. He doesn't know what happened with Cisco.
No.
Right.
And if he knew everything...
He would never go to Wells for advice.
True.
Hey, you killed my friend, but can I ask you for advice?
Yeah.
No, it's not going to happen.
Of course not. So because Barry knows, he talks to Wells, Wells says, hey, listen, don't do anything different. And Barry's like, yeah, okay, Wells, I won't. And the first thing he does is like, well, I gotta save the girl I love's dad, and also my kind of dad. And how am I gonna do that? Let me just get rid of the guy who's gonna kill him. So he remembers where the apartment was. He zips over there. He grabs him. The guy's like, hey, I didn't know there were more of me. And next thing we know, he's in the pipeline.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the quickest ever bad guy of the week to possibly have. He just puts them in the pipeline, and everybody's making jokes about it, but Wells knows exactly what happened. Were you guys surprised he didn't listen to Wells at that moment and he did go get him, or did you think that it was valid that he didn't take Wells' advice and that he just went on over and tried to save the day?
I think it's valid. He's a hero. He thinks with his heart. He's gonna get the girl. He's gonna save his like mentor character in his life, and you know what? And in that process, he's gonna stop a massive wave from taking over his entire city.
Tsunami, yeah.
Yeah, in his mind, it's a win-win.
Right.
But then we find out from Wells, when things like this happen, actually, if you go back, a worse thing will happen. Now, is he just saying that so Barry doesn't go back? Is there something he knows we don't? Do we think that there is some sort of balance in the world that it has to be worse or equally as bad in different ways?
Did he say worse or did he say like equal?
He said it could potentially be even more tragic.
Okay.
The quote was, "Whatever tragedy you think you averted, time will find a way to replace it, and trust me, next time it might be much worse."
Right.
Kind of like that movie. Remember that movie? They made like 12 of them. You Can't Escape Death. I forget the name of it.
Oh,
it was like,
Final Destination.
Yeah, I thought of that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, like that she avoided something, and all of a sudden something crazy happens.
Yeah.
So I think honestly it was all circumstance with all of these things. Like it just makes you think about your own life too. And like I wonder if I would have said that to somebody if one little different thing happened, you know. I guess it's just I guess it means that in every situation we make decisions just based on the moment more so than like it doesn't mean that it's the thing that we're going to want forever.
Right.
And you know, so I don't know. He's like, well, maybe in the future you'll love me. I know we're getting into the whole Iris thing, but I just feel like I don't know. It was so. I need an Advil as well. I know last time people talk. I need one as well because this could just go so many ways. It just makes you think all night about your own life too, and like what would you be able to change?
Right.
And it's just crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, and considering the last timeline, I figured he thought that between the two, either facing the unknown or dealing with what happened with Singh and Joe and all that stuff, like he was willing to risk it.
Right.
Because it's a potential that something was going to happen. It wasn't necessarily guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. He was willing to risk it then. And Ash, you brought up thinking about your own life, and Barry starts thinking about, obviously, there is an end game here for him, and he just realized he can go so fast, he can go back in time. And would it be worth it to go save his mom? And he has this one moment, and he asks Wells, eventually I'm going to be able to do that, right? And you're telling me I can't do that. And we didn't really get too much of that conversation, but the dialogue is starting. It's starting, him talking about being able to run so fast he can actually go back to save his own mom. What do you guys think about that possibility? And is there any way that's going to happen, or that you think that the world would let that happen without something else catastrophic? I'm getting a bunch of...
It can't happen.
Yeah, no. I think this all is... Thank God for all this happening first, because it's showing him that circumstances change. One little thing happens, like a glass falls, and that it wasn't supposed to fall, and then someone trips, and then like a whole new thing happens. Like you don't know what can happen. So there's so much risk involved in that, and I think this is... Even though like Iris not loving him is not as big of a deal as his mother passing away, it's still showing him how different things can be.
Mm-hmm.
And yet the blood is on the wall. He is going to go back, at some point.
Sounds like the writing's on
The
the wall.
writing is on the wall. Yeah. But like, to create Barry Allen, the Flash, this character with like a good heart, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, his mother needed to die.
Right.
His father needed to be locked up, and he needed to like go live with the Wests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I wonder how he can become okay with that. Like, it's so easy to say that because it makes so much sense for us. But like, if that were us and that was like our parent, like, can you be so logical, or do you just think with your emotions?
Well, I mean, we had an episode, or a few, I guess, months ago, where he kind of was realizing that he's doomed to fail. Like, even though he was there when his mom died, like, he still wasn't able to save her. And this whole conversation was kind of a reference to the Flashpoint paradox, in that, like, when Wells is like, hey, I mean, how many people are going to have to die if your mom lives? Because that one single event changes a whole timeline and creates essentially a desolate world.
Yeah. I know it's not like an eye for an eye situation, but it could have been that, like, his father died somehow, and he goes back in time to save him, and does. And yet his mom ends up dying.
Right. And you never know if one person lives and one doesn't. That person has the ability to hurt other people or help other people, save people's lives, whatever it is. But the running theory right now is that the Flash ends up going back in time to save his mom. Then he gets there, and instead he has to save his little self, which is why his body is found so many blocks away from the house, because he actually runs his body elsewhere.
Right.
Because if he doesn't save himself, then he has no chance of ever helping anybody else, and he's unable to save his mom because of all of the things that would change.
And yet Harrison did say he needs the Flash, you know, for XYZ. It could be that he saved him. But yeah, I don't think that's out of the world of that they've built. It's realistic.
Right.
It makes you wonder, though, if he hadn't... So you're supposed to go back in time and live everything the exact same way over again. But if he had gone back in time and hadn't saved himself, how the world would have been different. Because at one point, little Flash would have died, it seems.
Yeah.
Right.
That's crazy to think about. You guys are smart. My mind goes so many ways when I think about all of these things going back. It's just really cool. So anyway, because of the fact that we did go back, we end up doing something that unleashes the beasts that we call the rogues. Very cute, don't you guys think?
Yes.
Ha 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 ha. And we've seen these guys before. Obviously, we're talking about Captain Cold and Heatwave, but we're introduced to a new character tonight. Somebody who we announced in News and Gossip was going to be coming on, which is amazing. And Lisa is there, and she is hot, and she is full of gold, and she's got it going on, and she's crushing on Cisco. Kind of.
I mean, it was very fast. It was almost like, I mean, she did it in such a smart way because if any guy, she knows if you just go up to a guy and you don't really make small talk or anything, you just kind of get right to it. Like, she immediately, kissed him. Yeah. It's like, what guys be like, ew, gross. It's like, she's just like, I'll skip all the small talk and just get right to the point because he's not going to push me away.
Yeah.
So she's obviously very sharp. She knew what she was doing.
Absolutely.
But she played with poor Cisco's heart.
Was anybody thinking, though, that this was legitimate, or did everybody think, uh-oh, something's going on here? Because what kind of a woman does just come up to somebody at a bar? He is cute, but...
I didn't think it was not legitimate or legitimate. I was just in the moment with it, which was weird. I wasn't. I wasn't skeptical. Yeah, I was just like, wow, what is she gonna do now? Like, and Cisco, like I felt like it was like we were watching him grow up. Like it was like, I just felt like it was like really cute. I was like, yeah, go Cisco. Like I was almost like just kind of in the moment with him, enjoying it.
I thought it had to be someone in disguise because, as we said earlier, I was like this horrible yellow wig, also known as blonde.
Makeup.
It really wasn't blonde though. It was quite yellow.
It was like a Lady Gaga wig.
Microphone yellow.
Yeah, like the show is good enough where they don't do wigs that are noticeably wigs. Mm-hmm. This is like noticeably a wig. I thought to be like, oh, deception. Who's it gonna be?
Absolutely. What were you thinking when she came?
I knew.
The intellect.
Pretty much. I mean, no, I knew mostly because we announced it, and I was like, oh, I know who that is.
Yeah. The wig didn't fool you?
No.
You can still tell.
I know that pretty face anywhere.
She really is beautiful. Yeah. Blonde wig or not, she would look gorgeous.
Yeah.
But she did come in, and I really felt like she rounded out this trio. This is a group of pretty badass people, if you ask me. So they're there, and they're trying to take down, is it the Santini family?
Yeah.
They're trying to get all of their money. And I don't think we've seen the last of this, because at the end of all of it, we come to some sort of a solution with Barry, which is crazy. I mean, I know I just jumped 15, so many steps, but I couldn't get my mind over the fact that Barry was going to, after everything that these people have done, and the fact that they kidnapped Cisco, which we'll talk about in a little, and the sister, and all of these things happening, as long as people aren't getting murdered, he's kind of okay with it.
Yeah.
I was shocked by that. Not you guys?
I mean, I thought it was a good moment, and I also thought it was smart because, I mean, they were basically at an impasse. It was super snart.
I've been saving that one the entire show, trying to put it in there.
I'm so obsessed with your hair tonight. I just have to say that.
Oh, my little bun.
I find myself just like staring at it, snarting at it. No.
Oh, that wasn't as good. Okay, sorry, Tauri.
You look so cute.
I love you.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, because they were basically at an impasse. Like, essentially, if he captured him, his identity would be revealed. And essentially, Snart wasn't really hurting the main populace as long as he doesn't kill anyone. It's killing two birds because he's targeting mob people.
Right, that's true.
Which was such a nice flashback, I think, because like early superheroes, they were fighting mob, they were fighting gangsters. It was like a nice throwback, I thought, to that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. However, what if they decide to start taking money from civilians? You know, right now they're taking it from bad people, but eventually they're going to need to move on and take money from just rich people.
You know, if that happens, we'll deal with it then.
Right.
It was like a nice way to be like, we're both not happy, we're both happy. Can we like resume this in a week? Like, is that cool?
Are we worried that he knows his identity at this point, though, or that doesn't bother us because at least Barry seems to have a raps on it?
It doesn't bother me because that's like the ace of spades. That's the card you pull out at the very end, and you're not going to use that at the very beginning of the game.
Of course.
Right, I agree. That's definitely...
It's reminding me of earlier on in Arrow, or pretty much any superhero show for that matter, slowly but surely it just starts to leak. One person knows who it actually is, and the next person, as people were finding out who Oliver was and all of these things. And I just think that this is a really, really bad person to know, because you know that he's going to tell Heatwave. Heatwave has no sort of lid on anything.
Right.
Heatwave will tell anybody, I feel like. So, I don't know. Even though Barry thinks his secret is safe right now, I'm not sure if it actually is.
Well, I don't know if he'll tell Heatwave. Like, traditionally, Captain Cold is a honorable person. So if he gave his word, I feel honorable as
it's funny.
As honorable as a thief can be.
He's
Honor
a
among
code.
thieves, yeah. So I feel like as long as they both stick to their contract, verbal as it is, then he'll be true to his word.
In the actual comics, though, the Flash has a very a mutual respect with the Rogues, correct?
They try to kill him a bunch.
In a respectful way, though.
No. But I did read a lot that they have a mutual respect, and they have they tolerate one another.
Right. Yeah. And they've worked together in the past.
Right.
So it's not like he hates them or anything. It's just sometimes their goals are opposing.
Trying to keep crime organized.
Right.
Organized crime. It's just like the exact way that we get to the Rogues. I love that he thought that was cute. It was really interesting.
Yeah.
But I think that they are the really strange, or I don't know, whatever you want to call it, moment for me was watching these Rogues, that they're family, and they were talking, and he's saying, "You're the one who wanted to spend more time with me," or whatever. It just makes me remember, oh my God, this is brother and sister. They grew up together.
Right.
Like, what the heck was their childhood like?
Yeah, right? I know.
Like, hey, big bro, why don't you take me out? And he's like, you kissed her to Cisco and all of these things. It was just, it was cool to see the family interact.
I want a gun too.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was
Christmas tree, under the Christmas tree.
And to dovetail off what Tauri said earlier about chewing the scenery, I think Wentworth in this role is so smart, because sometimes he does when he can, and other times he's perfectly fine to just be normal. And I think that's cool to see.
Absolutely.
It's very smartly done.
Mm-hmm.
Those lines that he was given to, so after everything's going on and Barry picks him up and moves him away from, he's on his motorcycle or whatever, and they're talking, they were laugh out loud lines going, so why don't you leave? Because I don't want to. He sounded like a big baby. And I think that a lot of actors would not have been able to handle those lines and make me still feel like, wow, this is incredible. This scene is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was poorly written. I'm just saying they knew exactly what they were doing here.
Yeah.
And he delivered them flawlessly. I was chuckling out loud because he was like a man child.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was old style vaudevillian speed talk. Yeah.
I could see it on in the graphic, surrounded by gutters, in the caps lock font.
Yeah, absolutely. And Barry's just trying to get him out of there, and he's like, nah, I'm not leaving. I'm not doing it. I thought that was just so clever. And you're right, I could picture this in comics, the writing, the dialogue. It was just really, really cool to me. And I don't think that many actors would have been able to tackle it the way he did. Mm-hmm. And the same thing that Dominic's doing for Heatwave, the way that he's just this, again, in a different way, he's kind of this man-child, going around. And we see that when we see him interact with Cisco.
Yeah.
So...
And the man-child against, again, Wentworth's sophisticated villain, it's the fire and ice.
Yeah.
I'm oh yeah, I get it.
Well, so many puns tonight. Fire and ice.
Yeah.
Well, that's what their guns are.
Place that we used to,
Right.
It's like a restaurant that we used to.
Oh yeah, back in Boston, it's really good.
Fire and Ice. Shout out to Fire and Ice.
Absolutely. So, okay, here's my big question to you guys, though. Do we like Lisa as a villain as much as we like Captain Cold and Heatwave? Are we into her, or do we think that she isn't up to par?
Good.
So I thought it was interesting because in and correct me if I'm wrong, Tauri, but in the regular comics, she focuses more on her like agility, correct? Like her.
Well, yeah, she's like an Olympic ice skater.
Right.
And so she makes ice trails with her skates and uses jewelry, gadgets, and things.
Right.
That's
That's really
sexist.
It's what she does. I didn't write it.
But yeah, and she in the New 52, they change her again to she gained an astral form. Is that the same type of form that she had in the original?
No, in the original, it was. I mean, she wasn't a metahuman at all.
Okay.
So she just had like gadgets and things.
What's
Okay.
an astral form?
Like she could project her spirit essentially.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So I find it so.
I'm doing that now.
Yeah, right. So, for me, I did enjoy this until I was reading more about what she was before. So
Yeah.
I wonder what people that have already gotten to know her in the different comics, if they're able to adjust to this new type of. Obviously, I would have a gold gun any day, so I love it. But I would love to see the original one with the skating and also this other one with the spirit. So it's interesting that they change her so much because she actually was really cool to begin with. So
I think that's a great point. I'm curious, Tauri, as a comic book fan, how are you feeling about it?
I always thought Golden Glider was silly, and so I like
okay.
that she's more of a sultry character with this. Who now has she's like old-timey noir. What is the femme fatale kind of thing, as opposed to being just like. Ha! I have gadgets and I'm doing skatey stuff. Look at me skate, huzzah!
We don't even know to the full extent, though, what they're going to include and incorporate in her character, or when we're going to
Right.
see her next, or how she'll change. She seems to just be developing right now. She didn't even have a weapon, and she's getting made for her. So I don't think her identity has completely been revealed.
really, you think so?
Well, I'm not saying that means that she's going to throw on some skates and
No,
start
but that's interesting. Maybe they're waiting to see what our response is, and maybe they'll kind of go with that and base it on that. You never know.
Right.
You know, I don't particularly care for her character right now. Like, it doesn't do anything to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, other villains, like, really excite me. I think they're cool. And she just, I don't know, feels like she's there.
Well, we talked about this in News and Gossip before, but there's rumors that maybe her character in Heatwave have a romantic thing going on. In tonight's episode, we hear her call him baby and go get dinner with him, whatever it is. Would that make you more invested in her character if she's intertwined not only as the sister, but also as a romance then?
Maybe it would definitely complicate it more.
And we like complicated.
We like complicated. I mean, maybe we just don't know enough about her for me to have any feelings toward her. But like, I don't know. Like, I'm excited to see like the Weatherman. God, sorry, the Weather Wizard. Oh my God.
Al Roker.
I'm excited for the Weather Wizard. He's like this creepy, weird guy, and I don't get him yet. She just, I don't know. I had no particular like attention to.
You're excited to see Weather Wizard in the pipeline more, you mean?
Well, yeah, like that's just like one guy that like they could bring back because he's in the pipeline.
Yeah.
That I would be like, oh yeah, what's he gonna do? And yet she just is kind of there. She like likes pretty things.
Right.
Right. She hasn't had a chance to build her dimensions.
Yeah.
So now she's just like she's an accessory to the rogues
Exactly.
as
Okay.
opposed to being her own character.
Thank you.
That's what
Yeah.
I meant about her identity yet. So I don't really feel like she knows, but I do think that she might take us by surprise and really come kick butt, because one thing that these shows have been doing a great job at is having really strong female characters.
Yes.
And she's the only one right now who is going full force villain or hero. You know, yes, we have Caitlin, who we know might have a dormant villain in her.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen it yet, and Iris is not. So
And it could just be that we don't know that much about her yet. You know,
Right.
she hasn't
Right.
been given anything by the script to like impress me.
Right. With that said, I think that it's interesting that if she is just kind of getting adjusted and figuring it out, she's a little bit malleable. She's a little bit. You might be able to turn her easily.
ooh, you
which
think
is
she
interesting.
comes to the good side?
I don't know. I'm just thinking if
She's
you're in that
malleable
beginning,
like gold.
like gold. Ooh, I like gold.
Well, you know who?
They're very wealthy. Let's just say that.
Oh, because of that
on.
house. But they were squatters.
they have gold.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Lots of gold.
But going back to her storyline not matching the comics, I don't know. I think the Flash TV show has been very clear that they are 100% like gonna do the best they can to honor it, but they're feeling free to take liberties like Plastique, all these changes, like, and it's fine.
Oh, I miss Plastique's character.
Yeah.
She was a badass chick.
Yeah.
We don't know. She could still be out there
She could.
in the ocean somewhere.
That's true.
Okay, so I want to talk more about Cisco. We mentioned him briefly, but he gets the short end of the stick tonight. Not as short of the end of the stick as he got last week when he ends up dead, but still, he's very much so used and abused. So this hot lady comes into a bar. She's like, want to make out? He's like, yeah, I do. They make out. She takes him home to this squatter's house. He's like, ooh, I'm getting lucky tonight. I'm getting laid. And then on go the lights, off goes the wig, out comes the brother, who Cisco, of course, knows. And he's like, I've been set up, of course. It was too good to be true. But how are they going to get Cisco to do what they want? They want these guns. How are they going to do it? Well, they're going to use Cisco's brother, who we're introduced to in last week's episode. We didn't actually meet the character.
Right.
But we hear mention of him. We hear that they have issues. We don't really know why.
And Cisco's like, twist, kill him, I don't care. I don't like him.
Oh, that would have been hysterical.
That would have been great.
Yeah, good. I've been trying to get rid of him for years.
I think he's Italian, right?
No, it's got to be. They're
Dante.
speaking in Spanish.
Yeah.
No, I know, but Dante's there's 100%.
Dante.
I thought it was
a lot
an
of
Italian name,
in, but
At least all the Italians in my family
Italian is
name
very
Dante.
close to Spanish in terms of language. They both have the same roots. So,
Oh,
yeah.
so they took their names too.
yeah.
Or one of them took the other one's names. Who knows?
Take my name.
One or the other.
That was such an Italian girl comment. They took our name.
No, it could be both ways.
They live in America.
Yeah,
It's
that's
fine.
Right.
That's true.
Exactly.
It's been a while.
So we meet Dante before he's actually a prisoner. We meet him at his own birthday party, and my initial reaction was, "Ooh, this guy's kind of a dick."
Yeah.
He was very clearly hitting on Caitlin, who he in Dante's mind's fiance just died. He doesn't really know what's going on. He's really mean to Cisco. What were you guys' first thoughts of Dante, the non-Italian?
He could be half Italian, you never know.
That's true. What did you guys think about him?
I think that he was deliberately made to look like a jerk because he was very full of bravado. He's like, look at me play, look at me do all these great things, because he's not doing anything else with his life, and yet he's like the parents' favorite. So they really played that up.
Absolutely.
I think that just kind of plays off as insecure in a sense when you're a little bit pompous.
Oh, so
just
you
means
knew-
you want attention.
You knew he might be jealous in the end, then?
No, I didn't go that. I didn't know that much. I just whenever anybody talks about themselves, I always just immediately assume they're just very insecure. So
Okay.
that's only
life experience.
So all those emails I send you about myself?
Yeah, usually.
Oh.
That's why I'm over here.
Jeffrey, what did you think about Dante?
Oh, I just thought he was a dick.
Okay, so you're on my same team.
Yeah.
We're on the same team, and then we get there, and I'm feeling a little bad for Dante because he's all tied up, and they're using him as leverage, and they have this heart-to-heart in Spanish. So I was glad that we had the subtitles on. No, they would have been on anyway. And they're talking. He's saying, "Listen, remember that girl, Betsy something? No, I don't remember what it. Madison,
Yeah,
Haley,
Melissa something or other.
Jennifer. She actually liked you, but I told her you were going to be a priest. So bummer for you." And that's how that happened. But you know what? I'm going to fix that problem right now by breaking the leg of this chair and taking it and hitting this villain, because that's going to work and we're going to escape.
Yeah.
What?
And then Cisco goes after him and tries to fight Heatwave.
Worst plan ever.
That was gonna work.
Like, why don't you say that part in Spanish and let him in on your plan? Hey, brother, why don't we both break the legs, go after him at the same time? Like, it was just so rash.
I mean, the thing I don't understand is we have to assume that obviously we know Cisco is a genius.
Yeah.
He creates, he makes guns, he makes he's just so smart. Why does he not have his own contraption that he has on him at all times, or
Like a
make
gun?
something for anything? It doesn't have to just be a gun. Maybe he can, with him, who knows? It could be like some fairy dust he sprays, or like sprinkles, and then all of a sudden everybody like freezes, like whatever it is. Like
Vibe.
how is he
Yeah.
like with a stick of a chair? Like why?
Yeah.
It could be that he is
All the
the one
stuff
that
he
creates
creates.
Vibe for himself in this version.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been through enough. I mean, this is the second time we've seen him have to like fight for himself. So maybe at a certain point he's like, I'm tired of getting beat up.
Yeah.
I'm going to make something.
Well, again, that's so typical of Arrow right now.
Yeah.
It's like people get beaten down, and then they realize, okay, to survive in this world, I've got to do something. So I wouldn't be surprised, Jeff, if that was right, that he just gets sick of always being used in this situation, and he does something to fix it.
Yeah.
And we see tonight, after he is stuck between a rock and a hard place, and he has to give up Barry's name, that he actually wants to quit the Scooby Gang.
Right.
You can't leave the Scooby Gang.
No.
You're a life member, dude. And so he's like, all right, I had to do this. I feel so bad. Barry tries to make him feel better. But who actually makes him feel better?
Harrison Wells
Yeah.
using some of the same lines
It was
from
so
last episode.
That was great.
Minus the hand through the chest.
Oh, yeah. It was so weird. He says, you're the closest thing to a son.
Yeah.
Did you not all think that that was going to be like the same exact moment? Because I
Yes.
thought that that's what they were doing.
No, he had no reason to kill him. He didn't know anything
I know,
yet.
but I think that. Okay, go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
No,
You-
I was gonna say I just think that that was the moment that they were setting up for us to make it more, just to make us more on edge. And I also think if he did do it this time, like it would be. If he did do it, I was thinking what's going to happen in terms of like Wells and what would people think, because now there's a difference. Now there's a different reason that he's doing it. So
Right.
there's just so much that could have happened and so much going through our heads at that moment.
Tori, I gotta know.
I mean, my thought was the same in
Yeah.
that because in giving Barry's name to the Rogues, essentially you're putting him in danger, and we know that Wells will kill anyone who puts Barry in danger.
Right.
So I thought that's what that moment was going to be. But I was more pleased that they did the parallel of the lines. Because it showed, one, how great an actor Tom Cavanaugh is to be able to deliver the same lines in such different moving ways.
Yeah, because I really believed him here.
Yeah.
I was like,
I believe him there too, though.
Yeah, me too.
Minus everything else. I still believed him. Even when he killed him, I still believed that that was true. It's just that he just had to pick.
Right.
I
So you said
agree.
one, and do you have another one?
What?
You said one because he.
Oh.
And then I interrupted.
Oh, yeah. Sorry,
And
I
then
have
I
a short
secondly
attention span.
interrupted.
And two, because I didn't want to see him die again. It
Yeah.
was just make me too sad, and I think I'd have to stop the show.
Did you assume though? Sorry. Did you assume for a second? Did you have 1 second of thinking this could happen again?
No, I thought it could.
You really did. Okay.
Because it made sense in a certain form of logic, and I think that the writers are devious enough to make us hurt twice in a row.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I mean, yeah.
You know, I didn't think they were going to go that route, but I was thinking maybe they're trying to show us no matter what you do to go back in the past, some things will never change. But I'm really glad they didn't, because I love Cisco's character
Yeah.
and I want to see him stick around. And it was very interesting to see exactly what Wells said to get him to stay and come back into the group.
Yeah.
And manipulative.
I'm so curious to see why early in like the first half of the season, Harrison Wells didn't have full capabilities and his powers. He's like against the wall. He can't run so fast. We've not seen that.
Yeah, you know, while we're talking about him, we might as well just talk about the fact that he did have complete ability tonight, and he goes over and he kills Mason.
Yeah.
Like, full blown reverse Flash style. Does it have to do with tachyon?
I have a theory.
I look at Tauri, give me the answer.
I mean,
now.
yeah, I think partially it's because he has the tachyon device, even though that's been disassembled at this point. But I think that the stronger that Barry gets, the more he taps into the Speed Force. I think it also conversely makes Wells stronger as well. So I think that as Barry gets more in tune with his speed powers, Wells will start to notice that he's developing as well.
I just hope that they give us a reason as viewers.
Yeah.
And it makes that clear if that's the case.
Right.
Just because I don't know, I think it's a little bit missing now.
Yeah, and on that note, Jeff, I have to say that I think some viewers who are more well-versed in A, time travel, and B, comic books, are starting to piece things together, and some viewers who tune into the show because it is a CW show and they do love the Flash are like, whoa, what is going on? And I think that the writers know that, and so that they will try to take care of all of their viewers and make sure everybody's on the same page. So I really, so far, I am trusting them. But for you guys at home who are a little confused or whatnot, that's why we're here to break down the show. And for you guys who are experts, that's why we have our resident expert at the table to explain
Ashley.
all.
Binder.
She is our research expert.
That's
for sure.
true.
So I think that that's great that people that they're listening to their fans and they're going to really try to answer all questions.
absolutely.
I believe.
Yeah.
But I will say, Mason, before we even got to know him,
Bye.
We didn't. Yeah, bye, Felicia. Yeah, he's gone, and that means because he never really talked to Iris, she was so busy with everything that his research is going to kind of be discontinued, we think. However, then Barry catches on, sees that he's missing, and now calls Joe and is like, yo, Joe, you were totally right about that dude. Bad guy.
Yep.
Shocker. Oh my God, Barry, in the smartest moment of the year, you're really picking up on this whole being a superhero thing. I thought that was amazing that he caught on. I would have been like, he's missing? That's so weird. I wouldn't have put the pieces together like he did.
Yep.
Which was amazing.
It was intuition, I think. At the end of the day, I think it was, you know, like when someone tells you something about someone, like you want to believe it, but still you kind of get skeptical and you're like, I don't know if this person does. It's like when no one's saying anything at that moment that like you could kind of come to figure it out on your own.
Just
you know?
take some time
Take
to
some time to process.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you're looking for it, you can see like the small things that add up to
Yes.
something not adding up.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely. I agree. And just the fact that the seed was planted, then now he's just kind of on the lookout for all of these things, which is exactly what happens. And now I'm sure we're going to see the two of them buddy up together and try to see what exactly happened with Wells and why Mason is missing. And we know he's not missing. He's actually had the hand problem go through to his heart. All right, so that's what's going on with most of the story. But then, of course, we've got our ships. Oh, you know I always have to talk about our ships. Oh, Jeff, did I miss something out?
No, you're fine.
Are you nervous about what I'm about to say?
This has nothing to do with the topic that we're on, but Brandon Christopher on Twitter just tweeted that he misses Lisa's golden ice skates.
Okay.
Sorry, Brandon.
We still got the gold though.
And
true.
again, I don't think, maybe they'll just put in a little sneak of her in her ice skates at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
You know, the gold gun was the most magical, for lack of a better word, like device that we've seen on the show since.
Right, because I can wrap my mind around somebody building fire gun or cold.
ice or like
but somebody-
class 6 radiation or something.
Right, but actually gold coming out.
Gold, yeah.
I was like, ooh,
I was like,
okay.
we're going there.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So we'll see what else they do. Okay, I do want to talk about this, though. So Iris, in the last week episode, decided that she was going to go for Barry. We don't exactly know what triggered that. It could have been the fact that her dad was about to die. It could have been the fact that Barry was the one by her side. There are so many different things, but whatever it was, she makes the move. So Barry, being this naive boy, is like, oh, well, these are the feelings going on, so I'm just going to go in and I'm going to have her get coffee with me and I'm going to tell her we're feeling the same way about each other. Crap plan, Barry.
Yeah.
Didn't work out so well.
He got his feelings hurt big time.
Yeah.
He was so excited.
I want to cry for him. And then not only did he get his feelings hurt, but he got his face hurt when he gets punched by Eddie. Because Iris went and told Eddie.
Right.
Whatever writer came up with Caitlin's excuse, though, about his mind thinking he was like pre-lightning, I was like, you're brilliant.
Yeah, right?
And what a good friend. And I'm sorry whether you ship them as a couple or just as friends. Snowberry to the rescue.
Yeah.
They're a really great team.
They are very, very good team. That's
didn't
a
ask
very
her.
good dude. Just good friends-wise. I mean,
Yeah.
they always have each other's backs.
Absolutely. He didn't even
Right.
say, Caitlin, will you help me out with this? She just saw that he was hurting.
So
she
good.
stepped in. So I thought
Love
that was
her.
great.
Yeah.
And the way that Iris and Eddie handled that was like truly bizarre. It was like they were babying a little person. But, I felt bad for Barry in that way too, because you don't want the girl that you like to talk to you like that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you poor thing,
Yeah.
honey.
It's like they found
Like
out
if
he
he had
had a
an STD.
terminal
Nothing's
disease
worse
or
than that.
something.
Or that.
It's like, you're dying. Oh, I'm sorry. I
I'd
didn't
rather,
mean
yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Pitying me, that's the worst if
Yeah.
someone pities you. Oof.
Yeah.
But I will say, sorry,
ahead.
but like, and this is to you, Barry. If a girl only likes you when you're in a time of disaster, I feel like she doesn't really like you.
Well, you don't know.
It could have been that needed to trigger her of,
Right.
I'm going to die. Should I call Eddie or Barry? Barry's here.
I think
Kiss
it's all
me.
circumstance too. It's like a sense of urgency in that moment. Like whatever the case may be, when you think about like why you're drawn to somebody, I think a lot of it has to do with adrenaline and like in that moment, like that you need that person or you just find that person's doing something that's attracting you. It's not just like boring, like sitting down and like now I like you.
Maybe she's about to die and she just wants to get some. And he's in front of her.
Maybe.
You know, like she's a horny girl.
The bigger bummer is the fact that now he doesn't have her, but he also doesn't have Linda.
Right.
Because
yeah.
he totally ended that preemptively. Although if he didn't like Linda in the first place, he shouldn't waste his time with her.
It's true.
So that's
Right.
fine.
They'll bring
Totally.
someone else in.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Right.
on that note, let's get to some predictions.
Si, senora.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so just as a heads up, we have an episode next week, and then the first week of April, they actually are taking hiatus. So on April 7th, we won't have an episode, but then we'll be back again. So next week, yes, we're here. The week after, you're going to have to cry yourselves to sleep at night. Okay, what do you guys think about predictions for next week? We got the Trickster coming.
Grod.
You want to see more Grod?
Yeah.
Oh my God, no way.
Oh my God, it's gonna happen.
No way.
Don't you shatter my dreams, little boy.
So punny across the table. Tauri, what are you thinking predictions-wise?
I mean, we're going to get a lot of Mark Hamill. I think that I'm going to guess that new Trickster is working for old Trickster, and it's like a ploy to get him out of prison. So that's my main prediction for next episode. Is it's going to be like the
You mean the
long con.
imitation Trickster?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought it was like an imitation Trickster is just doing his own thing, and they have to pull out Mark Hamill from jail to help catch
Well,
him.
yes, that's the idea. Is that like they're like, you know what he's going to
Oh,
do,
but you think they're
I think
in
that
on
they're
it.
both in on it.
Okay.
And I'm thinking that somehow Barry's dad will play into all of this, and I'm hoping that we get to see him a little more.
Yeah.
'Cause I miss him. Any predictions from you, Miss Ash?
I think I said it.
Oh, just Grod, right?
Yeah, it's just Grod.
That's
Because
all
I
I
want
got.
to just put that into the universe.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
it happens.
Okay. Any
like the
predictions else
scary
across
ones.
the table?
No, I said enough.
All right, perfect then. If people want to talk to you throughout the week, which you all should, because my panel is amazing, where can they find you, Tauri?
You can find me on Twitter at TariJ. It's Taurijay.
You can find me on Twitter at Ashley Daniels and Instagram at Miss Ashley Daniels.
And I tweet from Jeff Masters 1.
You guys can find me at Roxy Striar. You can find us at AfterBuzz TV, AfterBuzzTV.com, hashtag ABTVFlash, and on iTunes and on SoundCloud. Make sure you're reaching out to us everywhere. Give us that thumbs up, that 5-star. We read all your comments. We love you guys so much. Thanks for being fans of The Flash, and we will see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.